What is an API gateway? API or an application programming interfaces are a set of rules and protocols that allows two software applications or services to communicate with each other. As applications grow in size, the number of APIs increase too. Without right tools and infrastructure, managing these APIs can quickly become a challenge. This is where API gateway comes into play. An API gateway acts as a central server that sits between the clients, browsers, mobile apps, and backend services. Instead of clients interacting with multiple microservices directly, they send their requests to the API gateway. So this guy is in the middle. So they send the client send, instead of to the services, it sends to the the it sends to the microservice. I think it will be cool if I can have a pen plugin Google, so that I can page marker. Is that cool? Yeah, exactly. This is what I want. It's exactly what I want, but it's slow. Why is it slow? Still loading. Yeah. Okay, so what I want to do is yes, now I can simply scroll and see. So this is the client and these are the microservices. So earlier they have to this guy has to connect with each, but now what he can do is in the middle there will be this guy. Cool. Yes, this is where API gateway comes into play. An API gateway acts as a central server that sits between the clients, browsers, or mobile apps and backend services. Instead of clients interacting with multiple microservices directly, they send their request to the API gateway. The gateway processes this request, enforces security, and forwards them to the appropriate microservices. In this article, we will explore why do we need an API gateway and the key features it provides and how it works step by step. Cool. Modern API. I'm just trying to. Okay. Why do we need an API gateway? Modern applications, especially those built using microservices architecture, have multiple backend services managing different functionalities. For example, in an e-commerce systems, one service handles user accounts, another service handles payments accounts, another has the product inventory. Without an API gateway, you have to, as I said, same diagram. Clients would need to know the location and details of all backend services. Basically what they mean by location is probably the address. So developers need to manage authentication, rate limiting, okay, and security for each service individually. Okay, that's cool. You have to do it separately, but now you have this guy in between. So I think this, if you do this guy, all this stuff, you put it here, then you don't have to individually do these. Clients send all request to one place, the API gateway. The API gateway takes care of routing, authentication, security, and other operational tasks, simplifying both interactions and backend management. Cool. The API takes care of routing, authentication, security, and other operational tasks, simplifying both client interactions and backend management. Yeah, as I said. So core features of API gateway, you see here, as I said, I little bit feel that these guys are like catching up to me. So instead of doing separately, you do separate authentication for microservice, you pass something. Instead of that, you can just use the API gateway, and that's not good because I just made it impossible to read. Yeah, now same, everything goes like that. Go. How does an API gateway work? Request reception. When you tap place order, the app sends a request to API gateway asking it to process your order. This request includes things like ID, restaurant name, restaurant menu items, delivery address, payment method, authentication tokens. This is when you place order. You do need the what are the menu items, you need the this payment method, authentication tokens. The gateway receives the request as a single entry point to the backend system. Request validation. Before forwarding the request, API gateway validate it to ensure the required parameters or headers are present, the data is in correct format, the request conforms to the expected structure of or schema. Example of initial request handling: app.post API orders, async request, check if request has required headers, if request headers content type return 400, invalid content type, and continue processing. If any information is missing or incorrect, the gateway immediately rejects the request, notifies the app with an appropriate error message. Authentication and authorization, it comes again. Why are they coming? Giving a comeback, I just omitted them, but I don't know. Okay, the first one, okay, these are the steps. The first one is you get the receipt, then you validate the request, and then you have the authentication and authorization. The gateway now let me try to the simplified version of this. Authentication is telling who I am and who I am. Authorization is who I am and what I have access to. Yes, did I get that correct? I'm not sure. So authentication, yeah, it's a cool thing to say than authorization. And I lost my power as did I hit the limit or something? Yes, yeah, there's something wrong with my power now. Can I go back? No. Okay, there's a slight delay. I think the laptop got stuck. Great. So I think I'm in the middle.